Hey y'all, if you're a Black Series RV owner or you're in the market for an overlanding travel trailer, you need to watch this video. I'm going to tell you about our ownership experience, parts failures, and the lack of customer service from Black Series that is ultimately leading to us selling this trailer. So my wife and I first bought this HQ21 back in October of 2022. It was our third RV, and we thought that it checked off all the boxes for what we were looking for in a travel trailer for the type of camping that we do. We do a lot of bow hunting trips, and the way that this trailer was marketed was that it had the ability to go more off-road and be more capable off-grid with the suspension, water, and solar components, among other things. We took it on a few trips throughout the year of 2023 and didn't have any real major hangups or anything. There were a couple warranty issues that the previous warranty department, who those ladies have since all been fired, they took care of us. They mailed us out parts almost immediately. It was still on us to do the repairs, but that's something that we were okay with. I'm mechanically inclined and I felt comfortable doing it. Having owned a few RVs, one thing that we do know is, hey, sometimes things break and there is a level of expectation there. Where everything changed was in September of 2023. We were in our 11th month of ownership, and my wife and I, along with two of our other friends, were on an archery elk hunt in Colorado. We had gone from Colorado Springs up to Gunnison. That road is multiple 1,000-foot elevation gain through the mountains, switchbacks, really steep grades, no guardrails on either side. And that's important to know because when we got to Gunnison, we pulled into a Walmart parking lot, I believe around 2 a.m. And we were crawling into the parking lot because there's a few of the storm drain type gutters. And we got through the first one and heard a pretty loud bang. Wasn't sure what it was, thought it may have been the suspension unloading or some of our gear on the back rack moving. Went into the parking lot, did a big U-turn, and when my wife got out, she was like, oh my gosh, the trailer's leaning a lot. So I got out, and what I saw was something I was not expecting. The driver's side rear wheel, tire, and hub assembly on the trailer had completely separated itself from the trailer. We were on 3 wheels and had absolutely no idea what happened, how it broke, and knew that we were going to have a really big problem trying to fix it. So the next morning we got up, I believe it was a Saturday, and there were a couple auto parts stores that were open. We went in there looking around, but the problem is that with Black Series, it's a proprietary suspension component and it's all made by them. There's no replaceable parts. And unfortunately, what we ended up finding out is that the entire A-arm assembly is what needs to get replaced. So we had been in contact with Black Series before for a few other reasons. And I actually had the CEO, the owner of the company, I had his cell phone number. So along with calling and texting him, we sent DMs on Instagram, we made story posts on Instagram, we emailed the company and then left voicemails. And unfortunately, we didn't get any response until Monday. When Monday came around, we found out that that entire team was, they were up at an RV show. They were regularly posting on Instagram and just ignoring our posts. What we had to do then is we had to reach out to our dealership that we bought the RV from. Luckily, they have a few backlines of contact and the owner talks with them directly. They explained to them what happened to our trailer, and the owner then, while he wasn't quick to offer any real help or assistance, he just said, okay, shoot, can you have them send me some photos of what happened? We're multiple days into being stranded. We had no way of moving the trailer. We were not comfortable driving it anywhere. The closest Black Series dealership was, I think, 180 miles away. And it's just not something that on 3 wheels and tires that we were comfortable driving this at all. What we ended up doing, because we had to get it out of the Walmart parking lot, was we called a KOA that was in Gunnison, and thankfully the owner there was extremely helpful and understanding. He allowed us to park the trailer just over off to the side in this grass parking lot that they had while we figured everything out. So we finally got in touch with Black Series, and while they were reluctant at first to really do much of anything, the dealership that we bought it from was really helpful in getting them to agree to take off some suspension components from one of their trailers that was in stock at their location in City of Industry, California, and supposedly overnight those parts to us so that we could make the repairs and get back on the road. We received a couple fake UPS tracking numbers that were never valid. You can imagine in our situation, we were constantly refreshing the UPS app to see what the update time was going to be for delivery. And then those parts never came. We would call, Black Series would tell us, oh yeah, those went out. And then we talked to somebody else and they'd say, oh yeah, the guys are about to pull those parts. And this is multiple days later. We're still stuck in Gunnison, Colorado with no way of moving the trailer, no way of repairing it, and being totally dependent on getting replacement parts from Black Series. When we did finally receive the parts, we got 2 dented, beat up, scuffed shocks. We got the A-arm assembly. What was really concerning about all of it was that the grease that was in the bearings had sand and cardboard in it. So it was already full of debris, not safe. All it's gonna do is cause a bunch of abrasion inside of these metal on metal pieces. Black Series offered no assistance in a mobile RV repair tech. They wouldn't pay for one, they wouldn't send it out. They said that it was totally on us to do the repairs. Luckily, one of our friends that was with us for the hunting trip is an engineer at Gulfstream, and the rest of us have enough automotive knowledge that we were just able to get up underneath the trailer using the full garage and tools from the owner of the KOA and make the swap. While we were under there, we found a lot of really concerning issues with the install, the alignment, spring seats, as well as other issues with cotter pins being installed incorrectly, causing metal on metal. When the parts showed up, we also got a new hub and brake assembly. The issue is that that brake assembly was for the front, not the back. So we weren't even able to hook up the brakes. What that led us to do was get the trailer at least back up and functional enough to where my wife and I could limp it back to Texas, the 800 or so miles at 50 miles an hour, just to try to mitigate any other risk if we did have another failure. What we wanted to do was just get home. After our trip being entirely ruined and dealing with this the entire time, lack of customer service and communication, all we wanted to do was just get back home and we would worry about it then. So we got back to North Texas and we started contacting some of the local Black Series dealerships, even a few that are in Oklahoma. None of the dealerships would take us in. They said that they've had multiple warranty claims that they've not been paid for from Black Series yet. So because of that, they weren't taking in any other warranty claims. So that left us here in Texas, nobody to work on the trailer. And then Black Series would not agree to pay for a mobile RV technician. So from there, we felt like our hands were tied and we wanted nothing more than to just be done with Black Series altogether. We could never get the owner of the company on the phone. He would never answer text messages or emails. So his assistant at the office was the go-between. What we wanted to do was just separate and break ties with Black Series completely and have them buy the trailer back from us. We'd owned it for 11 months. We'd had multiple issues, including the catastrophic axle failure, that we just didn't have any faith in the ability for this trailer to take us safely to and from the places that we wanted to go to. He rejected the idea of any sort of a buyback. The only thing that we were offered was that we could trade this plus something like $18,000 towards one of their 2024 models, and that's just not something that we were comfortable doing. At the end of all these back and forths, they finally told us that they actually have a road technician who goes to people's locations and fixes their trailers on site. Would have been really nice to know this whenever we were broken down in Colorado, but that's beside the point. So what they said, and this is first week of October, was we can send our technician out there to replace all the parts that are broken on your list of warranty claims. He'll fix the suspension piece, and you'll be back good to go on the road. It's now January 29th. That technician just left yesterday. So we waited 5 months to have our trailer repaired. It didn't move from this concrete slab. We weren't able to use our trailer at all. We paid insurance on it for the last 6 months. And when the technician showed up, something that was really interesting, and I'm going to put this video at the end so that y'all can see it. It's really important that other owners and potential owners see this. He showed up with a F-250 and an HQ-21 trailer. That HQ-21 trailer had the same exact axle failure and body damage on it that ours had. I asked him what had happened through a Google Translator app, and he said that it was the exact same thing that happened to this. Axle failed, wheel and tire hub separated, took out everything behind it, from the mud flap to the red tube, the body paneling, as well as the rear stabilizer. So you need to see that, and I'm going to put that video at the end, because when we spoke with Black Series, they acted as though this was the first time they'd ever heard of a failure like this. And now we know that that's just not the case. Their own personal trailer had the same exact failure. When we tried to make any sort of posts on the Black Series owners Facebook group, none of our posts would ever get approved. The owner of the company moderates that page and will not allow any post to get approved if they're not just speaking good things about Black Series. When we first had the failure, we tried to put photos up asking for any help, if anybody knew, what we could do. That one just sat there pending forever and then finally got denied. We've had other issues even prior to our axle failure. Our 7-pin wiring system was wired incorrectly from the factory and it shorted everything out. We ended up having to take it to a local trailer place here in North Texas, have them rewire it. And what they had told us was that from the factory, the wiring was just done completely incorrectly from the ground all the way to the turn signal lights and everything else that comes together in the 7-pin junction box. So they rewired everything for us. That was a whole nother issue, trying to get reimbursed for what is an actual warranty claim. If you've watched the video that we put up from the day that we bought the trailer, then you'll know that our solar hasn't worked from day one. We didn't know that at the time because we picked it up during a snowstorm, so we couldn't actually test it to see, but we found out soon after. That's the reason for the solar upgrade video that you've probably watched on this channel, where we took out the entire factory solar system, which is garbage, and multiple owners have had failures from day one on it, and replaced it with a full upgraded system that has been working amazing. So where we're at from here is we're done with this trailer. We tried to be done with it months ago, and that just wasn't an option. We would not feel right passing this on to another owner with any sort of existing issues. So even though all of these failures happened in September and we're now at the end of January, we did not want to pass along the problems that we had with this trailer to the next owner. So it was really important to us that we waited, even though it was over 5 months, for Black Series to come do all the repairs and get this trailer back to being roadworthy completely as it should have been from the factory. The last thing that we want is for anybody who has come to our channel for the interior reviews, the exterior reviews and tours, some of our different camping trips that we've shared, and think that this has just been the most perfect trailer for us and that we would recommend it, because we absolutely do not. In the beginning, we thought that the trailer was going to be everything that we were wanting and needing, but we learned really, really quickly that that just wasn't the case. And while we know sometimes things break, to also know that you have a company that doesn't stand behind their products and don't provide that service after the sale to the customers, that's just, it's unacceptable. And we want everybody who watches our channel to know that. We watch the analytics and we know that our channel ranks #1 for countless Black Series search terms on YouTube. So if you own a Black Series or if you are considering one, it's likely that you have seen some of our videos. We're not saying this to say that every single one of these is going to break, but after seeing our failure and then the exact same failure on the trailer that Black Series uses for their road crew technician, it is telling that this is not just a one-off problem. And we want everybody to be aware of that. Like I mentioned, with the Facebook group being so heavily moderated, you're not going to be able to see anything that doesn't paint Black Series in the perfect light. So using our channel, we feel like this is our only option to get this message out before we sell the trailer. So now I'm going to put up the footage of us changing out all the suspension components when we were in the parking lot of the KOA in Gunnison. I want you guys to see everything that we dealt with there, so that you can also take a look at what was sent to us from their headquarters in California. Then I'm going to put up the video of the repair technician's trailer so that you can see that he had the same exact failure that ours had. So we truly hope that this does not happen to anybody else with their Black Series. But after our experience and then seeing the repair technician's trailer had the same problem as well, we know that this message is not going to be able to get out to the Facebook group with the Black Series owners. So using our channel as a delivery medium to get this out so that people can see that it is something that they need to be aware of as a possibility was extremely important to us. All right, so here's our update. We got this trailer over here in front of the shop at the Koa campground. Went and got sets of tools that we needed, 15/16 replacement parts, ended up being almost worthless. So we're gonna have to Frankenstein this thing back together so we can get back to hunting. Disconnected the shocks from this A-arm. The next move that we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect the A-arm from the mounts that are on the frame. Once that happens, we're lowering the entire assembly down. When the assembly comes down, we have to swap springs, the bushing.
Let the thing come all the way down. We'll take that shock out.
Yeah, let the A-arm fall if it has to. That doesn't matter.
God damn.
Ooh, hello.
That wasn't. There ain't no little bit to this.
Shit.
That's fine. Yep, bring it down.
Yep. The spring's not compressed, right? Okay. So wait, hey, we may be able to.
We good.
Okay.
We good. Cool. I need to slide this out.
Yep, go ahead.
And that's how we're going to have to put it back. You're gonna need this bushing out of here.
Yep, no, we got new ones.
We got fresh ones. All right, so we dropped the A-arm assembly. We're about to put the new one in, and it looks like
it's basically a bushing,
yeah,
where the shock itself is going to sit, the spring correction is going to sit in here so it rides perfect and it stays centered. The one that they put in, you can tell, is all jacked up.
It wasn't put in properly, it just forced it up and in.
Yep.
So that thing wasn't sitting flush up against it, and whenever they, yeah, look at this comparison. So they just jacked the A-arm up so that they could hit it with the impact. So the spring was sitting off the entire time. Look at how bad this is. Turn the other way, please. Yeah, let me see that. Okay, so there was not a clean seat up against the top, meaning the spring was sitting at an angle. Anytime there was any sort of like a bounce or whatever, you hit a bump in a road, it's not allowing the spring to go straight up and down. It's going at an angle, whatever, like 10 o'clock to...
That's probably what helped it below the...
Because it's like pushing it out.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially because that was on the inside of the frame, that means that the spring was sitting at a, what, like a 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock angle?
Yes, yes.
And then that would have had any sort of pressure and force, pushed it out, which explains why this looks the way that it does.
Okay.
All right, so these are the replacement shocks the Black Series sent. You can see they're all beat up, dented, hit, scuffed, scraped. Not just cosmetic, I mean full on dents. Then you take it, they're blown out. I should not be able to do this with what is supposed to be a brand new shock for a trailer that weighs as much as this.
I can't turn this, you're gonna have to...
Yeah, I got you.
All right, swap with me. Put some mass on it, I got it. Before I get too snug, make sure it's where it needs to be again, okay?
Yep.
It's like...
Should swivel. Yes. Is it in?
This one is. Give me a second.
Here.
Other one, please. Thank you. Okay. All right. I'm surprised you don't drop the German joke whenever you're tightening stuff down.
Guten Tee.
That's it. There. All right. Somebody knows. The German torque specs are good and tight. Good and tight. Okay.
I'm coming up, all right?
Go ahead.
All right. I gotta. This thing's gonna be thread locked.
See there?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then we're gonna have you come out of here so we can reset this before we tighten shit, okay?
Yeah, too easy.
We have the e-brakes on.
All of them.
Everything.
Where
We got
do you
wheel
have
chock.
yours? Wheel chocks on the others?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, wait, you didn't cut that yet, did you?
No.
No.
Oh.
No, I didn't touch it. I just,
Okay.
the only thing I did was run it.
Yeah. Kind of just comes down.
Perfect.
Sweet baby Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
Okay.
So right now we're getting ready to put the brakes on. And we just got the whole A assembly set up and the shocks. Black Series decided to send us only 3 out of the 5 bolts that we needed to actually mount this properly. So we're using some of the old hardware, which is another point that you really don't want to do when you're
Not
trying to replace
advised.
something.
But it's
But
the option.
we at least kept everything, so we'll be getting after it.
Oh, shit.
Hey, we've got lock washers. They didn't give us any there, so you want to just use.
Yes.
That's it. Why would you have cardboard?
Okay.
All that cardboard in there.
There's foreign objects that are in there. It does look like cardboard.
Hold on, let me zoom. Yeah. Whoa.
And this is how the piece came. We have more. This is how the piece came from Black Series, right out of the packaging. Okay.
There's a big piece right there. Look at that shit.
Oh, wow. Just
Oh my god.
straight from their shipping department, it looks like.
All right, so I'm gonna put this on here.
What's up?
Okay, so
Front assembly.
the difference between this hub and this hub is they sent us the front one. So this one actually, if you look on the back right here, it actually has a, you're gonna see right here, this is actually for your emergency brake. If you look on both your front hubs, they're gonna have that. Also, they sent us one that had this really crappy plug-in, which does not match up at all with the rear. So we can't even plug it in to begin with, and it's already broke. So thank you for that, but not even the same hub.
Okay, so we can't hook up the brakes. Nope. Okay, what's going on here? Is that
So
checked the back one.
it just like peeled off and out, so it's just, it can rip apart your bearing, and this whole thing's dirty. Yeah, you can just tell that someone did this with zero care in mind.
That's dangerous.
Look at
Heard that.
It's supposed to be clipped so it doesn't hang out and just destroy everything.
Because if it turns the way that it did, then if you're making contact with the bearing
Yeah.
the whole time, then that's
So if
metal
that
on metal.
turned-
This, yep, so it's going into the bearing, and yeah. So that's why it's got metal shavings in there. So now we're gonna clean it up and repack it.
We're gonna actually retighten that,
That, look, this,
that nut. See
that
the
should
nut?
not happen. Okay, so we're gonna fix it.
And this is the back tire on the other side of the trailer, not the one that failed.
Okay, so
But we're gonna tighten it before.
you got that.
All right, y'all. So it's January 27th, and the road technician for Black Series finally got out here after our catastrophic failure beginning of September. This is the HQ21 that he uses to travel, and you can see all the parts. There were multiple stops. Apparently, he was in Denver and Oklahoma prior to coming to fix ours. You can see shredded tire, multiple AC units, power stairs, but the most interesting thing is the exact same failure that ours had. The technician confirmed that this one had as well. It's nothing that you could really hide. It's the same exact damage. But when this one pulled in and I saw this dent on the back, the entire rear stabilizer and the mud flap gone, I knew exactly what it was. So it really seems like ours wasn't any sort of a one-off situation that happened. This is a known problem. It's really unfortunate that they're not making any of the other owners aware that this type of catastrophic axle failure is something that is happening on a lot of these. And they're just leaving the owners hanging out to dry. 5.5 months for us for him to even show up. Unusable trailer. This is really concerning. I hope other owners take note of this. I don't know what you can do, but just knowing that they know about it on their own trailer that they're using for their road technician, it's pretty telling. Thanks so much for watching. Please like this one and subscribe to the channel. We want to take you guys along for the rest of our travels.